Now, topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Hi guys, I'm Sunny Chayes and you're with me today on Singing in the Rain and with the tagline, The Power of One. And I have two beautiful guests today who really exemplify the power of one. I'm working on that a little bit as much as I can in my own personal life. And that's what I have. A great show for you today. We're going to really bring it. So one of my guests I have is a woman named SUSMITA MASKEY, who is a Nepalese hero. She is a mountain summiteer of extraordinary ability and tenacity and just staying with it, and inspiration to many women and young girls all around the world. And she is working on raising money and organizing a number of things to come together to do her final summit, which will be hopefully coming up sooner than later. But she has summited all the other mountain peaks of our planet Earth, and as I say, we'll be organizing that last one. And it's her birthday today, so we'll be celebrating that today. And our first guest I'm bringing on, who's actually walking into the studio right now, is Akuyoe Graham, and she is also a hero. She is a woman of many talents, many extraordinary abilities, and beautiful energy. She's a practitioner at Agape, and she also is an inspiration and teacher and mentor to many young girls. So both of our guests today are all about the young girls and the people. And yes, we'll put those on for you. And she has brought such faith, inspiration, and ability to move forward, forgive, and like that to many young girls who have been compromised in their life as far as being put in prisons, foster care, and like that. And she's put together a book called Voices of the Unheard, and we're going to be talking about many more things that she's doing. So we're just going to bring her right on. Enough of my talking. Let's bring on Akuyoe. Yay! So, Akuyoe, I want to just welcome you here to Singing in the Rain.
Thank you so much, Sunny. It is my great honor and privilege to be here with you.
I think you need a radio show. That voice of yours is rocking.
I would love a radio show.
Yeah, let's see what we can do about that. So I saw your video today. I have heard you many different times around the world. And the things you've done around the world, I've been able to witness here in L.A. And I wanted to chat with you a little bit about the Voices of the Unheard. So just dive on in, girl. Go in.
Okay, Voices of the Unheard is a performance event that takes place annually. Each year in December, we have a performance event that features young people that were formerly detained, that were formerly incarcerated in the juvenile system, whether in a probation facility as a camp or in a juvenile hall or even in youth authority. And these extraordinary young people that are really quite remarkable in terms of their resiliency and their ability to transform habitual patterns that have kept them enslaved. And so these are young people that have been through our Spirit Awakening Rites of Passage program. And each year we get to celebrate their resiliency. We get to celebrate who they are becoming and who they are and the gifts that they have to offer the world. In this event, we also feature guest artists, guest stars that lend their voices to this cause in support of the young people, in support of many of the young people that cannot be on stage with us because they're either still incarcerated, serving, whether it's minimal time or some of them doing quite a few years in the state prisons. So this year, Reverend Michael Beckwith from the Agape Spiritual Center, the founder, is a big supporter of our work, and he always comes on board each time. We have Frances Fisher. Last year, the extraordinary actress Hilary Swank was with us.
Oh, beautiful.
And we have Monique Coleman, who used to be in High School Musical and Dancing with the Stars, and Deborah Wilson, who's an amazing comedian and an amazing actress, actually. And Deborah has been a big supporter of our work, and many others.
Oh. Well, that's fantastic. And one of the things I noticed in this book, I read this book, I love this book actually. And one of the, well, there are a couple different things. One is that they say in a lot of these are different letters and essays and like that. And we have Who Am I? And there are many, many different, about 30, 40 pages of Who Am I? And then there's also Dear Life.
Yes.
And I'm going to take that one on.
Okay.
I'm going to take both of them on. Who am I? Who am I? You know, it's constantly changing, and we're coming to the new year. We're coming to the end of a year cycle, and it's like, who am I? And Dear Life.
That's right.
I love both of those.
Well, those are, I mean, there are many organizations that are implementing writing programs for these young people. And these organizations are all quite extraordinary. There's Inside Out, there's ARC, and New Earth, and then there's Spirit Awakening, my organization. And ours is a writing program, writing and life skills program. However, what we do is we have contemplative questions that these young people must contemplate and then respond to, because what we're trying to do is not just have them write anything and everything that's going on. We want them to write from a place of empowerment. We want them to write from that place within themselves where they feel whole. And so the questions are designed to guide them to that place within themselves. You know, if we're talking about working with young people that have been let down by just about everything, everyone, including themselves. So we our jobs, if you will, is to guide them so that they become friends with themselves ultimately, so they don't let themselves down. And if they do, they have compassion for themselves. And so the Who Am I that of which you speak, Sunny, we have them contemplate the question, who am I? Who am I underneath my name, underneath my age, underneath the color of my skin? And what is my purpose for being alive?
I'm under my circumstance.
That's right. Underneath what my family thinks about me, what my friends think about me, even what I think about myself. Because sometimes the thoughts we have about ourselves are not true.
Well, and I this is so beautiful. And also you have Winner's Circle, which I love, gratitude, service, and then Who Was I, which I love that, and Why I Chose My Parents, and transformation. Of course, we end with, and then Esalen writings. When you're talking about the feeling of how we feel about ourselves, I mean, I just don't know how it is other that if we do find ourselves, I mean, I don't know who cannot, what am I trying to say? If we find ourselves in horrible circumstances, the shame, the humiliation just kind of rises in and around and all around us. And so to be able to feel that we're light and love and amazing and powerful and all that, I just think it's a lot to ask. And these young people who've acted out and acted like just little bitches or just done illegal things or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, and what else? I mean, what does one expect? I mean, I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying I understand it completely.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, really.
A lot of these young people that are in juvenile halls and probation facilities, 13, 14, 15 years old, many of them, I would say about 85, 90% of them have been through horrific experiences. I once interviewed a young man that as Silmar Juvenile Hall, and he was going away for a long time, I think 70 years or so. And he was 17 at the time, and we were talking in a dialogue. He didn't want to do the program. He said, what's the point? My life is over. You know, the point of access, though, was that he had a daughter. And so I said, do it and dedicate the work you do for your daughter so that she may know that she does not have to go down this path that you went down. And that he could do. That was the opening that he could access to begin to do the work. And during the course of our work together, he said to me, you know, most of us here, including especially the boys, it's seldom talked about, but most of the boys in this place, we've all been raped. You know, we've all had horrific things that we've been through. And so our acting out has been a result of those things that have happened to us, you know. And so and when you don't know that you don't know. You're acting from the place that you think is the wisest place at that particular moment, and so
or you react
or
because
you react.
don't
There
have
you
the
go.
impulse control because it's beaten out of you, or it's just not available.
That's right.
For whatever the reason is.
That's
it's just
right.
not available. And again, it's like when someone is just starving and hungry, and then someone says to them, well, study for your exam that's in a week. It's like, I got to get food.
That's right.
It's like,
That's right.
So one of the reasons that I do this show is to bring voices like yours onto it, to be able to allow you guys to know that there are things that we can do. Again, this is always about, I'm the seeker and you are the sage. So hello, my sage today, Akuyo. And again, I one of the areas that I really feel very deeply about, and I'm grateful that I have this show and this platform, is to remind myself and to remind all of us all the time that there are people that there are human beings that other human beings have put in cages.
Yes.
And I don't like it. And most of the time, I feel that that's not the way to go. Thank God. Prop 47 passed.
Yes.
I thank my cousin Lynn Lyman. Thank you, Lynn Lyman, for getting that on the ballot, Drug Policy Alliance, and that's going to shift a lot of the human beings in incarceration and the labels and what's going to happen with their life later.
Absolutely.
I just want to allow us at every turn I can, and SUSMITA is going to help us with this too. To remember that that everyone is deserving of freedom, and the judgment that we sometimes put on people to, for some reason, feel that we are keeping other human beings safe from other human beings is probably 3 to 5% of the time correct, and the other 95 to 98% not really correct, not the way to handle that situation. So that's why I want to bring it today, and we're going to get real. So that's what I have to say.
I couldn't agree with you more, Sunny. I think that when these children have been abused, as many of them have been,
or just neglected, or
neglected.
Their parents are gone, or
right.
they're doing drugs, or they're whatever it is, they're not available to their kids because maybe they weren't the whole chain of events that goes on.
That's right. It's throwing them in jail does not ultimately address the problem
at all.
Because then there are other kids coming up behind them that are going through similar experiences. And so in a country like the United States with incredible resources at our fingertips, I think with the passage of Prop 47, what that's indicating is that we need to look at a different way to respond to these challenges, and really there are opportunities. We need to look at how we respond to our children. When children act out and do these terrible things, when a child goes to a school and shoots 24 babies, as in Sandy Hook or Columbine, when these things happen.
And now it's happening almost once a week. Why
Yes,
is that? Because
exactly.
people are angry. There are issues going on.
That's right.
When you get to the bottom or to the heart, if one, not often do we get the opportunity, because a lot of times they shoot themselves as well. But a lot of the time you will find a very broken, sad person who has issues, obviously. So that healing of our little brothers and sisters is so where it should be, and there's so much money spent. We know the statistics. It costs $50,000 a year to put someone in jail, and it costs of course not even quite that to send someone to Harvard.
That's right.
Or UCLA, and certainly not SMC. So I mean, the point is there are ways.
That's
and
right.
DPA definitely says that the drug policy issue is not a criminal justice situation at all. It's a medical one, 100%.
Absolutely.
Let's deal with it the right way.
Yes. I mean,
Let's
all
get
of
real.
this is just telling us that we have to look at how we're responding or how we are reacting, and basically, I mean, children, they don't do what we say, they do what we do. So a lot of the acting out is what they see, and they're imitating that. If we live in a world where our response to everything is violence, and our response to everything is well, take that person out before they take you out, or whatever, so the children are imitating what they see.
Yeah.
And so we need to begin the dialogue, and not only dialogue, but look at, well, how are we reacting to the greater issues that we're all faced with on this planet?
Yeah.
And maybe there's another way to deal with things. I mean, I'm an actor, and often I'm watching television or I go to a film, and it's interesting to me that on TV, the cops and robbers shows, every show ends with a bad guy being killed. Like that's the solution, and yet every week there's more bad guys and there's more bad guys. So,
And then,
yeah,
and then
so,
I even want to say to that, I don't even know. At this time in my life, I'm not even sure if there are bad guys. I think there's horrendous behavior. I think
Yes.
there's atrocious behavior. But as far as to the heart, if you actually sit down with them or know what their history is, are there bad people? Are there good people, and are there bad people? And I think that is our place as, if we want to say, spiritual, sacred human beings walking the earth, doing what we are doing in our life. It's that compassion to know what's really the truth there, digging underneath and telling the truth about that, myth busting that.
That's right.
People who are in jail are not bad people. People who are in Africa who don't have enough food to eat are not bad people or not poor people. We all have our development that we're going through. We all have our souls and our spirits and our gifts and our desires in life to make a difference and be loving, incredible human beings. I really believe that's what's in it. We're in it. That's what we are.
Yes.
And however it finds its way, the Mother Teresa's all over the place that none of us will ever hear of in our life. I think that's where it is. And so, speaking of Mother Teresa, I want to bring on SUSMITA. So SUSMITA is a beautiful, beautiful, incredible person. I'm so excited to have met her and have her on the show here. And I told her to doll up in her sari, so she is. And she is a true hero to Nepalese women. And we may not know of her over here in America as a Mother Teresa in that way, but she is really, really a very serious hero in parts of the world. And so I'm very honored and blessed to have you on the show today. And I'm really grateful that I have the two of you with me on this day. So let us greet SUSMITA. Woohoo! And we will be singing at some point "Happy Birthday" because I'm going to I'm going to hold this with me here. But anyway, the celebration of your birth coming to this earth that is honored so many people. So join us. What do you feel, first of all, about what we're talking about?
First of all, thank you so much for having me in this show, and I'm just like I don't know, stunned and overwhelmed, and I'm like carried away by what you guys are like talking and what she is talking about. Like it's just it's so true and powerful what she's saying, and not only USA but every country now is dealing with a lot of anger and frustrations in youth, and it's same in Nepal because of like political instabilities for so many years. Like youth in Nepal don't want to stay in their country, they want to flee away, they want to fly away. So there is this lack of sense of belonging to the in the youth of Nepal, and the moment they are done with school, they just want to fly out. They just don't want to stay in the country, and there are like people like me, a lot of young people like me who are staying back in the country, and we are working in the country and telling the people in power that we need the country, and
Yes.
we will stay in the country to make it happen, like make the country better.
So
And-
just so people know, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just so people know, because some people may not really know what's going on in Nepal. So just in a sort of, I know there are water issues, but some people may not. So school us, Sage Samita. Tell
Okay.
us what's up.
Nepal is a very beautiful country, and it has a lot of mountains. So it has the highest point as 29,000 feet above to lowest point almost like how much, 120 feet near close to the sea level. So it has it's a small country sandwiched between two big countries, India and China. but it has a variety of geography, and from tropical to like, you know, very, very extreme, like kind of like Arctic weather in the high Himalaya. And being a very beautiful country with a lot of natural resources, we have faced a lot of political instability, and we faced 10 years of civil war. And then there was monarchy, then you know, like the monarchy was like outcasted, and then we are into getting like better actually form of democracy in the country, and we're still like struggling in writing constitution and giving every ethnic communities the rights and power and access to education and jobs and health facilities and everything else. So
And
yeah,
there is women oppression.
it's a very male-dominated society, I would say. Like most part of Nepal is very male-dominated, and like it's very strange because when so my mother has like 3 daughters and a son, and her like, but she had like 4 daughters. So her first daughter passed away when she was 9 months old. So my elder sister passed away when she was very young. So she was always looked down by her relatives because she didn't have a son. So every next pregnancy, people will be like praying for a son, and then there will be a daughter, and they will be disappointed. And finally, the 5th child was a son, and everyone was happy, and everyone was saying, okay, you know, it's not bad. So daughters don't have value in our society for some reason.
And so as far as education goes, are girls educated?
The literacy rate for women and girls is very low.
Okay.
Very, very low. Compared to like we are like the population-wise higher number of women and girls, but then less literacy rate. And it's getting better, I would say, because there are a lot of people like us who are like, we are like advocating for education, and the government is working really hard and bringing the education to children, and things are getting better, but then it will not happen overnight. It will take like many years when we see every single kid going to the school and having education, you know.
Yes. Well, and I also know I've had other people on the show. We're doing a water project in Nepal. So even though it's so beautiful in the mountains and it's just absolutely gorgeous as far as the flora and fauna and all that, but there are definite water issues. So we're working with Ways for Water and some schools and in the area, and the government with water there too. So, you know, so it's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on there.
True.
And you are, I wish we had Bob Guglielmo here, because he would really be jumping up and down about you with his Italian pom-poms, because he really has explained to me so deeply, he's been there many times, what a difference you do make and what an actual hero you are in what you do and how inspiring you are to these young girls and young women. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So
tell us.
Yeah, we are trying to make it's like I always tell people, like I am still trying, and we still struggling. So I've been climbing mountains for 12 years now, and my every climb is dedicated to like different causes and social issues, and I advocate for very strong issues and causes, and be it child education or like bringing toilets in schools, you know, or like women empowerment, gender equality, and since mid last year, I have been doing the global expedition. So I'm climbing highest mountain on each continent, and which is like almost in its finale stage. Actually, I'm heading to Antarctica to climb the highest one in there, and I'll become the first Nepali woman to do that. But with these expeditions and with these
One
travels,
moment, you're going to be what? Get ready, John. We need applause.
the first Nepali woman to do all 7 summits.
Yeah! We can't just gloss over that one. Yes.
Well, being a very male-dominated society and having no value in the family and society, like a lot of girls are abused, exploited, and so I am trying to raise awareness about it, like help people talk about it, help people heal through sports, and I'm doing it through the climbing. And in 2010, I started this project for children where we bring the children from different rehab and rescue centers and even from streets, and we take them for wall climbing sessions. And in 3 hours, they get to enjoy, they mix up with other kids from their families, and they climb. And every session, I have seen a huge transformation in these kids. Like in the beginning, they are so hesitant. They see the challenge up there on the wall, and they're very hesitant. And end of the day, they come back as very confident and like a conqueror, like as if they conquered.
Because they summit it, right?
Yeah, they summit the wall, and it is so amazing to see them like having that sense of achievement, and going back home with the confidence. And that's what I'm trying to do, like long term. And I have my non-profitable organization called Kurkilo, which we registered last year. So through that, we are trying to do like regular sessions. So when I go back home after Vincent Massive, I'm going to continue that. And we get like a lot of requests from not only from this kind of organization, but also from the organization that work for mentally and physically like challenged kids, So they say, okay, maybe through your sports, maybe we can help them heal and get them more confidence, and which is like kind of like very great feedback for me. And this is something I'm doing with climbing. And at the same time, like with my mountaineering and all the media attention I get a platform. Like, I make sure that I get the platform to talk about the causes, and
that's so perfect.
Yeah, mountaineering has given me a voice, and that's something I want to give back to the kids. And
or you're using it. I mean, that's so perfect. You sure
are.
Yeah, you were telling me when we were driving over here about how you get just constant requests from radio and TV and magazines and newspapers and everything in your area. So again, we're so glad that you had the time to come here, and it's taken us about 3 months to plan this. So we're really glad that you were able to fit that in. One thing I wanted to share with both of you guys that I heard you say, which I know is so true after having, I have 2 kids myself, and motivating someone to do something is an interesting kind of art skill thing. And I wrote down just a little note, having anything to get through, to sort of start it. And then I believe the natural spirit will go, but there's a lot sometimes where people have so much no going on that anything but the easiest thing may seem like, again, a no. I can't do that. I just can't. And then when you give them that little opportunity, that little window, and like you were saying with that gentleman, do it for your daughter. When you're saying just do 3 steps. You don't have to worry about climbing the whole mountain. Just start. Just put your foot on the wall.
I actually bribed them.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a monetary bribery or anything. So I knew that these kids will not go on the wall, like
you have your
that.
experience with
so,
that.
Yeah, I hung like toys all over the wall, and the best toy was on the top. So I made them. I set them goals. So you climb like 2 steps, you get the smallest toy, but as you go higher and higher, you get the best and better one. So
Akuyo, that's great.
Yeah.
It is.
So
It's wonderful.
that's how I motivated them. in the first round.
Well, and the thing that I feel about that, and you guys are much more expert on this than I am, but I would imagine that again, it's that once you get started, you know, I mean, I even trick myself sometimes when I go to work out. It's like, oh, Sonny, you don't have to just do it, you know, just do a little bit, and then once I'm there, I'll do more. Or
That's right.
Just do that one step. You know, I even say with my own developing my own power of one, which I talk about all the time. It is a step at a time. You know, I know at some point when I leave this planet, I'll be wherever I am. And it's just by doing every day that one step in front of me that I can do, that I feel like I can actually do. And many things, you know, challenge me. And I don't have the challenges that these people have. So, but don't you find that it's like that, it's that whatever it takes, it's like something,
True.
it could be a bribe, it could be chocolate cake,
True.
it could be whatever it is. But then once they get in, or like, doing whatever it is for you to get them to be writing in the book.
That's right.
It's not just like, hey, write, and it's going to be an amazing essay, right? I mean, I'm sure they're very intimidated.
Oh, they are, and afraid more so, because it is, you're taking them on physical climbs, and there's so many ways to access, you know, the interior world, and so their mountains that they're climbing are the things that the thoughts that they think or their feelings, and they have to climb through those things. And so navigate, absolutely. And so, yes, you know, we can show them the books that we've published and tell them about some of the events or experiences that they can participate in terms of our organization once they're released from incarceration. Yet ultimately, though, they have to really I think what happens is that when they see, like if I take Yanni or one of the other kids that have been through the program and are on a better track now, when they see others that have gone through similar experiences, that's always an inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
When they read the writings of other children that have been through what they've been through, that's always an inspiration. And then I think there is that within them when they hear something that's authentic, you feel it. You can feel when something's authentic.
Relate to it.
That's right. When something's real, when someone's real, like yourself, you know, and really cares about them, you feel. I mean, I love what Maya Angelou said, you know, you might forget someone's name or, you know, the facts about the person, but you never forget how someone makes you feel.
Exactly.
So
I love
and
that.
I do too, and it's true. So, you know, when we go in to work with them, that's why it's, you know, what is our motivation? Where are we coming from?
Oh, yeah, girl.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not that, as you were saying, Sonny, it's not that in this moment, you know, they're in a challenging situation. However, that does not negate that, you know, it doesn't mean they have nothing to offer. Does not mean that we go in there looking down at them or judging them and condemning them.
Exactly.
You know, right now you're in this place. However, you're still a valuable being. You still have gifts and you have a voice.
Yes.
And so I think, you know, when someone can feel that, they can rise, or at least they can take that first step. They may not reach the mountaintop in that one first go. They may fall down again. However, it's their response. Now they can respond by, okay, I fell, but I'm going to get back up. You know, a lot of our kids are dealing with addiction, and kicking any addiction is difficult. You know, so you may take a few steps and go to rehab and you fall again, but you get up and you try again.
Yes.
You know?
Well, and what I think we're talking about too is, you know, like I was saying, I love to do on this show is myth bust. And so, you know, the truth. I mean, what is the truth? When you go into a prison, when you go into a foster home, when you go into the streets of Nepal, I mean, what is the truth? We are all one. You know, that is actually the truth. And sometimes it's hard to get at that, and sometimes it's hard to connect to, or I'll speak for myself. And yet that is really the truth. So coming from that place, and like you say, not having the you know, the condescending, you know, or I can say, because I'm the white person at this panel right now, you know, it really bothers me when people come into a situation and they're sort of the, you know, the white rich person who's going to go to Africa or whatever and save the Africans. You know, we were laughing about
Matt Damon
doing it. Oh, well, I'm just going to go save the Africans. I mean, it really, I mean, that was funny, but it actually really angers me being a white person, because I lived in Africa and I know that many people say this these days, and it feels almost trite. Oh, when I give, I receive more than I give. Oh, I've heard that many times. And it's a lovely sentiment, and it is really true. But I have to say, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, when I lived in Africa, I was so humbled, and what people knew and how they moved through life and the sacredness and the realness and whatever. I mean, not to say their issues and problems and whatever, but whoa. So big stuff.
That's
so
right.
don't say they have nothing because they don't have clean water.
That's right.
That's where I get really, really angry. I get mad, and so I don't want us to come from that place.
Well, I think.
Can I just say one more
oh,
thing?
Yes,
No, don't forget what
absolutely.
you're going to say. I mean, I know I sound like really judgmental even with that, but I think that the point I'm trying to make is that something that you were saying before, really, looking at our motivation for doing something in any way. And, I know we do it all the time. It's like brushing teeth, to always be kind of cleaning, looking at that motivation. Is it coming from, wanting to look cool to other people? Is it coming to, whatever those motivations are? And then, understanding them, realizing them, telling the truth to ourselves, and then letting it go, move through it, whatever. I mean, and I'm all for, let's do good, even if the motivation may be a little weird, like with Target. They want to look cool. Well, hey, give millions of dollars anyway. But I'm just at a place at this point, and I want to share with people, and I know that this is what you guys are living examples of, is being from a place of much more depth, and being from a place of truth, of realness, of authenticity, and that from that place, true beauty can be. So I just want to clear that. I thought I was like ranting, which I kind of am. But what were you going to say?
No, you've said it so beautifully, Sunny. Just that, whether it's helping in Africa or Nepal or South Central or Pacific Palisades. I mean,
Right.
there's challenges. If you have a body and you're in this life, there's going to be challenges and pain, and when, if someone falls and I reach out a hand, I'm just reaching out a hand. That's really it. It's no, I'm not really saving them, It's reaching out a hand, and we all need a hand at some point. Everybody does. And so
yes, that's the other
That is
thing.
so true.
Yes.
Right?
By the way, speaking of hands, I just wanted to say one thing. I want to send a shout out to Frederick de Barmier, who was here last a couple weeks ago. I'm wearing his beads from his village. I bought a painting of his, which is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You have to go online and see his art, because it's like amazingly astounding. But I forgot to mention on the show with when he was with me, that he has two sort of I don't know if they're not organizations, but they're just kind of movements that he's doing. One is called Look Mom, No Hands, because just to remind you guys, he's the one who was the Rwandan genocide survivor who was asked to kill people, and he did not do it, and so they chopped his hands off, so he does not have hands. And then he also has a movement organization, and he's going to do more with it, called I Am Able, and it's all about not the disability, but the ability.
That's
So,
right.
Thank you, Frederick.
Oh,
being
yeah,
you
he's
where you
Frederick is so beautiful, isn't he?
Yes.
Just and I love how he's flipping the switch, the script rather, that I am able, I may have different abilities, however, I still have an ability. And many, and I think we're saying the same thing. When those young people that you guide and lead take that first step up the mountain, how amazing that must be. And when, the youth that I have the honor and privilege to work with, when they begin to discover who they really are and their authentic voice, and begin to discover their strengths. They've been told all their lives that they're nothing, they'll amount to nothing, and they begin to, discover that that's not true about me. I am someone, I have something to contribute in this life, and I wanted to give my gifts. I once heard that the meaning of the word human is dispenser of gifts, and that I just thought that was just so wonderful, because if that's true, and I believe it's true, then we all do have gifts, and it's the dispensing of those gifts, and that's what we're here. That's what we have these beautiful bodies for, and
Yes.
these minds, to
Yes.
dispense those inner gifts that we're here to give.
Yes. And so what were you going to say, Susmita? I can feel words coming from
No,
you.
I'm just like really overwhelmed because I have like her right sitting next to me, and she is saying so much like powerful things. And
Yeah, she's emanating
I'm
beauty.
learning
Yes.
actually. I'm like,
But I do want to
taking
bring
in.
you into it because, again, for you, when you're working, I mean, actually, even climbing a mountain, we were laughing earlier because you were talking about it, having interviews with people who ask really stupid questions. So hopefully I won't, do that. But I'm not a mountain climber. I mean, I'm not. I'm pretty athletic, but that's one thing. And I know that there are challenges, very, very serious challenges. And of course, climbing a mountain is not a competitive sport, only in the way that you are, it's I imagine much more meditative and
It
sort of
is.
going into a zone and all that. And you're, if nothing, you're competing with, or you're not even competing. I don't even think that's a word. You're communing with the mountain and like that. So talk a little bit just about what it's like to climb a mountain. I just want you to be poetic for a moment on your birthday. Reflective.
For me, like climbing mountain, be it like small or big, I don't see any mountain as a small mountain. Like when I climb mountains, it's like meditating, because I don't think about anything. I don't think about the pains I have or the challenges I have or the people, and I just bring all my energy together and focus on my goal, reaching to the top and getting back safely. So those
Well,
are
I would
only two
imagine you're
goals.
very present. I mean,
Yeah.
you're thinking, not only are you thinking of getting to the top, but you're thinking, I would imagine,
Yeah.
of your next step, literally. Like we were talking about taking our next step, but literally you're thinking of your next step.
Because that's the smartest way to do it. Like a lot of people ask me like, okay, like, did you get excited when you reach the top and all? But we don't get excited to reach the top, because the moment we know that the summit is coming, we have to like start processing in our mind that we have to get down the same challenging, hills. Like with the uphill we went, we have to get down that downhill safely. So we start processing that in in our minds. And for me, like every climb is spiritual journey, and with every mountain, I learn a lot of things. And just to see the mountain I'm climbing, I get so overwhelmed. I literally see my mother in the mountain, and I make a lot of prayers. I surrender myself to the mountain. I am not of those mountaineers who say, "Oh, I conquered the mountain. I won over the mountain." I never say that. I surrender to the mountain. I have seen a lot of success, but I've seen failures also. There have been a lot of climbs where I haven't made to the summit, where I almost killed myself, or I have seen other people getting killed. So I never like underestimate the mountain, and every mountain brings me back as a more confident and more stronger like person.
Probably
better
humble
person.
too.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's in my blood.
Yeah, I mean, meaning,
I know.
because I mean, it's. I remember one time I was Goldie Hawn. A lot of people know was an actor many years ago and still does stuff, and she was saying that her dad said to her, "Okay, girly girl, whenever you're getting a little too big for your britches, just go to the beach, stand in front of the ocean, and just stay there." And so I say that because realizing, when we are what we are as human beings, how significant and yet insignificant we are, if I can say that in the same sentence. So is that a feeling that you sometimes have at some point when you're communing with the mountain?
I feel really, really tiny in front of a mountain, like very tiny. And mountain is like a mother. She can be very generous, but she can be very harsh too. She's a woman, so she can have like all different roles. So yeah, I feel very tiny in front of a mountain, and it's always overwhelming when I'm like doing the climb. And I remember like I don't know, like I'm kind of personally, I feel comfortable like talking about things, but when it comes to having like fame and all, like I'm not very comfortable at all. And no matter like how popular you are, like how many friends you have back home, or like, you know, if you're a star, when you are up there on the mountain, you're not anything.
Right. That's right. That's
You
it.
know?
Yeah. It's just, well, that's what I would
it's-
imagine. It's sort of like you're everything and you're nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then with all of this compassion and humility and experience and everything that you have, and, you know, the idea of conquering, again, not the mountain, but your fear, your, you know, all of that, to be able to take each step, that's something that you then bring back to your, as a mentor to people you work with. Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Hmm. So when you're climbing a mountain, like every step is like climbing a mountain. With every step, you are putting your life on risk.
And no
Every
step
single
is different
step.
than any other step in
Yeah,
a way.
yeah.
Like the journey is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like life.
Yeah, like life. And through my experiences, I've learned many things, and I try to like share my stories as much as possible with like with children, with youth and women, and I do a lot of public speaking, and I try to share my stories as much as possible so that people learn from my mistakes. And, you know, like everyone should be allowed to make their own mistakes and learn by themselves, but there is no harm learning from others' mistake and learning
No.
from others, you know,
Mentors and
success all.
elders are an important part of our community and society, and I think that, you know, moving back to having mentors and elders is a good thing. One thing I was going to say, because both of you guys were talking about youth, and specifically Akuyo, you were talking about, you know, this anger coming, and it just reminds me that the anger has always come from the youth, you know, being mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I mean, Martin Luther King saying, you know, anger isn't always bad. Even Gandhi also saying anger is not a bad thing. I mean, if something is unjust, let's be angry about it.
That's right.
Like before this thing, and I was ranting and raving, and you know, it's like, I mean, I get mad about stuff, and I'm okay with that.
That's right.
And so the youth has always been the power in the music, in the you know, the beat poetry and the art, the social pop culture of the, you know, the last 300 years has been about the youth saying, what the hell are you older people doing? And we got to shake this up. We got to change this. This is not okay.
That's right.
So it's okay.
It certainly is. It's just energy.
Yes.
You know, anger is just
and it's
energy.
truth. It's
and
like, okay, that's gotten, you know, it's like they
That's
say
right.
people start out being liberal, and as they get more money and get older, they get more Republican. And it's like, and it's like, okay, so, you know, the youth come to remind us. It's like that new shoots of
That's right.
of growth coming out, saying we're fresh, we're new, and we want clean air, we want clean water, we want, you know, what's up, people? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it's great that you're energizing and doing what you can to heal. You're not actually healing. You're in my opinion.
Yes.
You're allowing, of course, the people to see the opportunity to take those steps up the mountain to heal.
That's right.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now let me ask our engineer, our charming, handsome engineer, how many more minutes do we have? Okay, so I want to make sure that we get to everything that we want to promote. So I know that we want to, we can, and by the way, you guys, you can go to my website in about 3 days, because my fabulous son is doing a really incredible website for me where you can actually donate to causes. So you can go to my website, which is singingintherain.com. And donate to anybody you want to here, but you can also go to the websites, right, Susmita? So.
Yeah.
So go for it really fast. Or
So
clearly.
my website is www.susmita, SUSMITA Maskey, MASKEY, one word, .com, susmitamaskey.com. And you can do online donation. Yeah.
And just to let people know what that is, so this will be for the 7th summit.
Yeah,
so
that
you
will be for my final climb on Vincent Massive, which is my final of the 7 summits, and it's a very expensive mountain. It will cost me $45,000, and yeah.
and then you'll
so
come
it'll
back
be-
to tell us all about it.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, I can't wait. And then we're going to really get into the detail of actually climbing a mountain because I want to know more about that. And so,
Sure.
and I also want to talk about Voices of the Unheard and the event that's coming up December 13th,
Yes.
2014.
That's right. This 2014, Saturday, December 13th, at USC Bovard Auditorium here in Southern California in Los Angeles. And for tickets, people can call 1-800-838-3006, 1-800-838-3006, press option number 1, or you can go online to brownpapertickets.com or visit our website, Spirit Awakening Foundation, which is www.spiritawakening, all one word, .org.
So people can go to your websites. They can donate money. They can also see how they can maybe perhaps, I mean, because I'm all about like, what else can we do? I mean, sometimes it's about the money, but sometimes our services, or maybe there's something specifically you need, like clothes or toiletries or mentoring or somebody to come and sing music or whatever it is. So again, we all know it's the, time, treasure, talent. I mean, it's all part of it. It's not just about the money. Although money is good. We like it.
That's
Greed
right.
is not, but money is good.
We can always use mentors in our program.
That's good to know.
Yes. So if someone, feels like they have a heart for this and they'd like to mentor a child, mentoring and coaching is one of the most profound gifts you can give to a young person.
And people, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And of course, again, it's the gift that keeps on giving for
That's
sure.
right.
And it's, by the way, it's a holiday time, and this is Thanksgiving month. So it is all about the gratitude and, again, knowing that we do have the power of one and working that a step at a time, remembering that we do. And I also want to remind you guys that you can get the Voices of the Unheard. You can find that on the website as well,
Yes,
right? This is a
yes.
really beautiful book, and I really, really highly recommend you do that. And so I think we're getting to the end of our time, but I want to thank you. Is there a sentence that you guys want to each share before we say bye-bye?
I just want to say thank you. First, I want to thank you, Sunny, so much for the generosity of your time and your passion for causes and for, experiences that are unique and that are really making a difference in the world. So I want to thank you for making a difference in our world.
Oh, thank you so much. And SUSMITA, what do you want to say?
I'm-
But you don't have to thank me. But
I'm out of words, actually.
so we're gonna.
I'm really thankful for the show, of course. And if people are, people who are listening, then they can, reach out to me. Like, they can support my clients, they can support my causes, or participate in my causes, and be part of the history making and life changing. So yeah.
Well, and thank you, both of you guys. And then the other thing that just came to me to say is, again, one of the beauties of doing a show like this is hopefully this inspires you to play in this world, in SUSMITA's or Akuyoe's world, or something that inspires you to do. If it's something that we're doing where you can mentor in your own town and Sydney, Australia, wherever you guys are hearing us and seeing us, that you can participate in women's empowerment and just bringing clarity, something that you really feel clear about, that and you can do a little more research to get a little more clear and get your feet really firmly on the ground and then go for it. And that's what I think our next year is going to really be about. What's next? That's my big question. What is next? So until next time, let us remember again, we have the power of one. Sharpen those boots and get walking a step at a time. And until next time, I adore you all. This is Sunny Chayes, and Sing in the Rain. We'll be having it somewhere. There's going to be rain somewhere. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.